What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we dissect player by player what happened last night in the 3-2 loss at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Southampton. And let's get straight into it, and let's start off with HUGO LLORIS, which is probably our best player on the day. Sim gives him an 8, I give him a 7, and it was a really good performance from HUGO LLORIS. Set the tone in the first few minutes with that point-blank save from Che Adams. There were countless amount of saves throughout the day. But I just marked him down on a few crosses from corners that he was flapping. I thought he could have done a bit better from them. But from the goals, I don't think he could have done much better with them. They were quite good efforts, but he did make countless amount of saves throughout the game and kept us in it time again.
Yeah, especially in the first half. He really, it was only thanks to LLORIS there was 1-1. And he did flap at a few crosses, but he also, he's never been a great catcher from crosses, has he, Hugo?
Maybe not catching, well, yeah, recently he has been.
I would say he usually tries to palm them away. That's always been his technique. If he's under pressure, that is. I think you can catch him when he's not under any pressure, but if he's under a bit of pressure, he usually tends to punch. That's his technique. But yeah, he definitely, what it does, or never, sometimes it doesn't look great when he's doing that. But first half, some really great saves, especially from Stuart Armstrong, and one that he tipped up. But actually, looking at it again, he tipped it onto the bar from Peru. That long-range effort, it looked like it was a save actually, which was a brilliant save. And thanks to him,
high-quality saves.
Yeah, thanks to him, it was 1-1 at half-time. Second half, I actually don't think he had too many saves to make. It was I think Tottenham, they had pretty much, Southampton had 2 chances and 2 goals in that second half, which was a massive shame from us. But in the first half, he kept us in it, and we nearly got something out of the game because of him.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Ben Davies. 5s all round from us for him. Obviously, he had his hand in the first goal with when he completely slipped on the ball inside the box. And I thought he had potentially his hand in the other few goals as well, where he was nowhere to be seen when Ward-Prowse picked up the ball and put it on ahead for both the goals. So I think he did have his hand in potentially all 3 of the goals. Apart from that, on a whole, I mean, I think it was probably his worst display in a while in a Spurs shirt. But I don't think it was completely detrimental apart from the goals. But those are the key points, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I would say from the first goal, so he massively definitely since Conte's arrived, probably his worst performance. But he struggled. For parts, especially in the first half, I felt I didn't find Ben Davies, getting forward as much as we used to see him since he's gone to that left centre back role, and I felt like he did better than the players on the other side of him, but he still struggled quite a bit, and obviously a massive markdown for his hand in the first goal. So that's a shame.
Yeah. Let's move on to Romero. 6s all round from us. The strongest defender on the day, that's for sure. But he doesn't get away from criticism. But let's start off with the good things first. I thought the way he was being aggressive against the Southampton front line, he was winning the ball back time and time again. I felt his distribution was a bit off compared to the last game against Brighton. But again, definitely our most competent defender, and I thought he played well for the most part, but it just wasn't as strong as the previous performance against Brighton.
Yeah, I felt as a unit, the defence just wasn't there like it was against Brighton. I felt like we were much more easily contained the Brighton attack compared to the Southampton one, where they were coming from all angles. And Romero made some really strong challenges. I thought from a defensive point of view, I think he was okay, but on the ball struggled quite a bit to really play out from the back. I think he struggled to find teammates more. I'm not sure if it was more to do with the way Southampton pressed rather than him himself, but I felt like he was quite out of position quite a few times because of the defenders around him, and he had to make up for that. I also think he doesn't shower himself in any glory with the 2 goals we conceded late on.
To be honest, the whole defence, you can say the same about that for the whole defence, to be honest. And that moves us on to DAVINSON Sanchez. 4s all round from us, and these are DAVINSON Sanchez displays which we've been accustomed to seeing, to be honest, not of late, I grant you that, but definitely in a Spurs shirt. I thought again, as we're saying with the other defenders, he also played his part in all the goals yesterday. for the second goal, I think it was Southampton's second goal. I mean, he just gets sucked in and completely out of position, leaving men unmarked, leaving Emerson to have 2 or 3 men on him at one stage, which I thought was down to Davinson Sanchez. I thought he lost the ball countless amount of times, and it was so frustrating. I mean, we've put him down to that as well, like his quality on the ball and what he can bring, which has been better of late. But yesterday it was back to his really bad, to be honest. But there were good moments in there where he was winning the ball in the air, winning the ball back, and also marauding forward on a few certain occasions as well. So it wasn't all bad from Davidson, but definitely a step backwards from his recent performances.
Yeah, definitely considering his hand in the 2 goals we conceded. Loss of concentration, not able to know his surroundings, no awareness, which is a massive markdown. I think it was really annoying because he did quite well for the first goal to win the ball back. And then Davis slips and then he tries to head it away, and it wasn't a great header, but Emerson obviously has more to blame. But Sanchez was defending like for the goals really sloppily. I think in second half, actually, I think he improved quite a lot, and he was actually quite a big part of why we were able to dominate them in the second half. But first half, he really badly struggled. So you got to mark him down for that, and he struggled to keep possession and have any sort of quality on the ball, which was a big problem. But he did have a hand in the goal which we went 2-1 up in. He played a really nice ball in for Winks, didn't he? Which obviously got us on the roll. So that was good, but defensively, yeah, pretty poor in the first half, which pretty much cost us. Sorry, in the second half, which pretty much cost us.
It did cost us, and that moves us on to Sergio Reguilón. 5s all round from us, and let's start off with in the first few minutes, first 10 minutes, our first real chance of the game. I mean, it falls to Reguilón at the back post, 1-on-1 with the keeper. I think it's probably a harder chance that people are making out, but he should definitely be doing better, that's for sure. Definitely be doing better, and probably should be putting that in the back of the net. Hits it straight at Fraser Forster, where he could have gone either side of him, and that's a goal. Apart from that, I mean, he was getting forward a lot without any real conviction, without any real quality. I think I remember him putting in like one good cross throughout the whole game. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know how to explain it with Reguilón, but you know, he looks like he's got pace, and it looks like obviously he's trying to attack our left-hand side and their right-hand side, but he just does it with such little amounts of quality, and he seems a bit hesitant in his play when he is trying to attack their right back, and he very rarely tries and beats the man. And for someone like him with that pace, he should be doing that a lot more.
I didn't think it was too bad, Reguilón. I think yesterday it was a bit frustrating on a few occasions when he's in good position on the left-hand side, and especially one occasion I remember specifically he had 3 free men in the box, and all he had to do is pick one of them out, and he plays the ball behind all of them. But he did have some good moments that really did impact the final third. Obviously, the moment where he has a one-on-one, despite the miss, he did very well to get into that position. He also had a very good cross for Harry Kane, which Kane headed over, which he really should have scored that chance. So there were a few moments where he was impacting the final third, which is exactly what Conte wants. But he definitely needs to do better when he does get in those positions, and especially on the left-hand side. He did swing in a few crosses, which caused problems, but unfortunately, especially the Kane one he missed, but a few times there was a lack of quality there, which he needs to improve. But I did think he got forward fairly well in terms of getting to the positions, which is a good thing.
Let's move over to Harry Winks. 4s all round for Harry Winks, and unfortunately it was a poor display from Winksy. Probably not the worst of our midfielder, which is saying something, but obviously he did have his hand in one of the goals. He played a really nice ball to Lucas Moura, but moments after that he loses the ball on the edge of our area, and Broca takes a chance, and luckily he misses it. So I thought that was a common theme from Harry Winks throughout the game. He was losing the ball many a time in the middle of the park, putting us under pressure. And yeah, just a really poor display really from Harry Winks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was a bit better on the ball than his partner. I think a few times he was doing some nice things on the ball, like progressing the ball forward nicely and getting into position. I thought defensively he was very poor, and I think on the ball he was okay passing wise, but in terms of ball retention, I think a couple of times he lost the ball in really bad positions, and it very, very nearly cost us dearly. When it came to us being 2-1 up, I thought for those final 20 minutes, he didn't get anywhere near any of the Southampton midfielders, and that was a big reason why they were able to dominate us late in the game, despite the fact we'd regained domination. So that was really disappointing as well. So it has to improve, but wasn't all bad, but yeah, mostly bad.
Yeah, which leads us on to our next man in Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Threes all round from us. Look, he got the assist for the first goal, for the own goal, which was good for him, which was a really nice cross that put it into a dangerous position. But apart from that, I don't remember anything positive that he did throughout the game. On the ball, he was shocking, absolutely shocking. One of the worst displays I've seen from him, if not the worst display I've seen from Pierre. Even when he wasn't even pressured at all. I remember one moment in the game where he had the ball in the middle of the park, no one around him, and he just plays the most terrible ball. I think it ended up going out of play. And that was really his performance. I mean, when he was under pressure, he had no composure and no calmness to actually take a touch and pass it on. He always just did one touch. He just used one touch and it just went nowhere most times. He found it really hard to make a simple pass in this game, and it was just a terrible, terrible display and got hauled off, and rightly so.
Yeah, and for Conte to take him off, that shows you how bad Højbjerg must have been, because Conte is always very reluctant to take him off, even when he's not having the best of games. But he had a very, very bad game this time round, and he couldn't keep the ball for anything. Obviously, he did get the assist for the goal, for the opening goal, but other than that, he was so sloppy, so careless in possession, real lack of care when on the ball, and it was night and day compared to the substitute who brought on, and compared to how they treat the ball when they have it. And Højbjerg, that's always been a big criticism of him whenever he's been at Tottenham, that sometimes when he has the ball, he can rush decision making and can be very, very careless on the ball, especially when being pressed. And if he doesn't improve that, he could well find himself out of the team at some point. But what I would say is I did think off the ball, his pressing and stuff wasn't at his best, but it was still decent. So that's that.
Emerson Royal, threes all round from us, and they really did seem to target his side, and rightly so, because that they did get a few goals from that. In the first goal, I mean, the ball comes to Emerson, and he just lets it run past him, where he should really be battering that away. He lets it run past him, and he loses the ball. The next goal, he was completely out of position for Elyounoussi, which really should have been his man. For the third goal, I can't really remember too much.
Same thing, pretty much.
It was the same thing, pretty much. And yeah, he was just shocking. I mean, he didn't provide anything for us in that game, attacking-wise or defensively. And a lot of people have been digging him out last night and today. And it's hard to argue against it, to be honest.
Yeah, terrible performance from Emerson, I have to say. Pretty much poor for all three goals. And they've I have to say, they targeted that right hand side.
Yeah, definitely.
To attack especially in the first half. Everything was coming down that right hand side, and we really failed to live with it. And they were creating chance after chance, crosses in. I think for the first goal, not only did he let the ball run across his body, but he also failed to block the cross, which was definitely achievable from that position he was in. So that's definitely something very, very poor. For the two goals we conceded in the second half, he's too worried. He's too much thinking about if the ball gets cleared, he's on a breakaway ready to attack rather than actually defending, and he doesn't get goal side quick enough, and he gets the wrong side of both those attackers, and they end up getting a goal from it. And it kind of feels like maybe you think Emerson is better at defending, and he's defence first wing back, but he didn't show it yesterday. And going forward on the ball, I thought the quality was terrible. I think a few times he's trying to link up with Lucas and on the right hand side, and he's trying. They were trying 1-2s and trying to find him, but he wasn't able to. His touches were poor. He kept losing the ball. His passing wasn't accurate and didn't have good quality. Didn't have good quality about them. And I can't remember any time that he was in the final third with any real conviction at all. I know he did get the ball for the first goal, which laid off to Lucas, and we scored. But other than that, he was very rarely in the final third. So that's really, really disappointing for Emerson.
So frustrating how many times he lost the ball yesterday. Him and Sanchez and Højbjerg and Winks. All four of them, they were just countless times losing the ball. I think the stat was, 17 times each for Davinson and Emerson? Was that the stat?
Yeah.
It's just terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. But let's move on. HEUNG-MIN Son, sixes all round from us. I thought he showed a lot of energy. He was trying to run at the Southampton defence with kind of little end product, to be honest, but he was in the right position at the right time and forced that own goal home to put us 1-0 up. And obviously he scored the goal to put us 2-1 up as well with a nice little volley and a finish. So he gets plus marks for that, but it was a very hard day at the office for him, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a nice goal, and obviously he was the one nearly following up on the first chance as well, which was an own goal. And I think actually whenever he got the ball on that left-hand side, he was a bit of a threat. He was trying to make things happen. He did find it difficult to link up with KANE and Lucas, especially when Southampton were settled in their defensive line. He wasn't able to really get involved. But on the few occasions he did look a bit threatening, but didn't really have too many shots on goal. And we know with Son, if he gets a shot on goal, he's usually very clinical. So got to work on that. I do wonder, I have been wondering, look, I'm not saying he can't play this left inside role to a high level. I do think he can, but I do wonder whether it gets the best out of him. And I think we're yet to see that. I think he can play it well, like he can put in good performances there, but do we see the very, very best of Son in that position? I'm not saying he can't do it, but we're yet to see it, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a question mark, that's for sure. Moving on to Lucas Moura, 7 from Sim. I gave him a 6. Involved in both goals that we scored. A lively little move for the first goal where he took a little touch and played through Højbjerg, who got the cross in for the own goal. And in the second goal, he got a lovely cross in the box for HEUNG-MIN Son. So those are the plus marks for Lucas. But apart from that, I mean, he was just huffing and puffing without really doing much for the remainder of the game. So obviously he gets big plus marks because the 2 goals that we scored, he had a heavy hand in. But apart from that, he didn't really contribute to the game.
Yeah, I think those 2 crucial moments, I think especially for the second goal, was a great cross into Son. I can't underestimate how difficult that is to get it on a plate for him. And it was a goal. And obviously a little through ball to Højbjerg, which got the first goal as well. But other than that, I did think he struggled to hold the possession, to really influence the game. And I also thought he wasn't backing up Emerson at all defensively to an extent which he needed to. So I think he needs to do better. And it's a difficult one because he did contribute to 2 goals, but also it still carries on a trend of poor performances. Even though I did give him a 7, because when you've got a hand in 2 goals, you got to say he'd done something good. But his overall game was still poor in my book.
Yeah. Harry Kane, 6s all round from us. You definitely saw the effort and the desire was there from Harry Kane, as it always has been in recent weeks. But the problem is with Harry Kane, I mean, he just had to drop deeper and deeper and deeper and kept dropping deeper because our midfield was so non-existent. He did have his chances, that one at the back post with a header where he headed it into the ground, went over the bar. He was taking a few shots here and there as well, which either the keeper was equal to or went over the bar. But again, it was a very hard day at the office because when we did go forward, we looked quite dangerous in that 20-minute period in the opening stages of the second half. But apart from that, Southampton were just all over us.
Yeah, and I think again when he did have chances to have the ball and influence the game, I thought he was pretty good. He played a great ball to Reguilon for the chance that nearly went put us 1-0 up. He played a great ball for Lucas for the goal, for the second goal. I did think when he was able to get possession in around the box, he was definitely a danger. He'll be definitely having sleepless nights about that chance he missed at the back post where he headed it over. And that may be that was a point where you have to say he has to score that. But I did think when he had the ball, he was good, but he didn't have the ball enough, and that was the problem.
Yeah. All right, so that is the starting 11. Let's move on to the substitutes. Rodrigo Bentancur, 7s from us for him. He came on with half an hour to go for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And you could just see touch of class, man. He did more in his first 30 seconds on the pitch than Winks and Højbjerg did for the whole time they were on the pitch. And I thought he just showed his touch of class, his finesse on the pitch as well. You know, his little half turns that he's doing, his little Cruyff turns. That ball he played for Lucas Moura completely across the pitch along the ground was absolutely scintillating stuff. And it just shows, I think he showed already in the small amount of time he's had on the pitch that he could be a really big player for us.
Yeah, and things did definitely change in our favour when he came off the bench. I thought he really had a bit of calmness, a bit of composure, making the right decisions, wasn't rushing things. It was literally the polar opposite to Højbjerg. When Højbjerg was on the pitch, Højbjerg was rushing things and imprecise and wasn't thinking about what his next move is.
Always felt like he had a lot of time on the ball.
Yeah, Bentancur got a touch, was aware of his options. He knew I think his awareness maybe that's the thing. Maybe Højbjerg lacks a bit of awareness around the pitch when he's on the ball, because Bentancur seemed like, even without looking up, it's like he already knew where everyone was and he could play the pass. Like within 20 seconds of being on the pitch, he did something Højbjerg has probably never done in a Spurs show, with that beautifully weighed long pass which drilled along the ground into Lucas's path, and that shows the kind of quality passing he can bring. Obviously, it wasn't enough to bring us to the win, but he was definitely a massive improvement on what we were seeing in central midfield.
You know what also really impressed me with Bentancur yesterday was when he plays these passes, even the short passes or the long passes. As soon as he's played that pass, he's on his bike. He's on his bike and trying to provide an option for the team. And that's also something that we've been missing from the middle of the park. Because sometimes, when Winks plays these balls, he plays it and then just, stays in the position he was. When Bentancur plays those passes, he plays it and then he's darting up there to become an option. Which shows high quality vision in my book. So Bentancur, I think he can be a really big player for Spurs, but we'll see how that one plans out. Another new signing in DEJAN KULUSEVSKI. We gave him a 5 all round from both of us. And he came in to try impact the game, and I felt that he did see quite the ball, but he didn't really use it to the best of his abilities or in the most high quality ways. I mean, I can't really remember too many situations where something positive came out of him, his actions.
Yeah, I think he struggled to really impact the game, Kulu, unfortunately, on the right-hand side. He wasn't able to swing in many crosses or get many shots off. When he came on, I felt like a few times the ball was played in behind him and he wasn't able to get on the end of it, and he wasn't able to dribble too much. A few times he was on the ball, and to be fair, I did think in the last few minutes I did see a bit of quality with his intricate passing. I think he played a few passes really intricately in between a few players and actually found a player, but it relies on I felt like in those moments, like your team needs to be like Man City to kind of take the most out of it, because you need quick one-touch, intricate passes to combine to get a move. And so he kind of started that move off, but we didn't kind of have the players around him to make the most of it. Like he would pass it to someone really intricately and then they'll just lose it. Whereas if he was playing for City or something, that pass would trigger a really good passing move or something. So that was a shame. But that was good. But other than that, yeah, he struggled to impact it.
And last but not least, Steven Bergwijn, 6 all round from us. I mean, really didn't have that much time on the pitch to even give him a rating. But obviously, when he comes on and we're losing, you're getting flashbacks to the Leicester game. And you know what? He puts the ball in the back of the net and he was offside. And he was offside and it got called for offside. But if that goal does get given, I feel like we can go and win that game. 6 minutes were added on at the end. It's just a shame. That's the only real action he had, to be honest.
Yeah, he actually was on for about 12 minutes because he came on with 7 minutes to go, and then 6 minutes added on, so he was on for a bit. But I think obviously we're 3-2 down, so it's kind of a different kind of game he's coming into. It's a lot deeper. There's not much space that he can exploit. But he did, I think, a few times use his physicality quite well. Was able to hold off a few Southampton players. A few times a pass was played into him. He was able to lay it off, but wasn't able to get too many shots off. Unfortunately, wasn't able to really impact the hurt Southampton's defence properly. Apart from a few little things, and obviously he did get that goal, but he was offside, so that was a shame. But he did play central striker, which was interesting when he came on.
All right, let's move on to Antonio Conte. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. Probably a 5 is more fair on reflection, to be fair. I think that from the outset, I thought it was the wrong team to play. I thought maybe he should have gone for 3 in midfield to beef up that midfield, because they do have a strong midfield in Ward-Prowse and Romero. Look, I think that you saw how much we were under cosh in the first half, and I was expecting a change at half time, and that didn't come. I thought Conte was a bit too slow to react yesterday. But apart from that, I think that he can't really account for a lot of the poor performances that were on the pitch yesterday. I mean, it was an identical starting 11 as it was to the Brighton game, and the performance was completely night and day. Yes, you can point your finger at Southampton, at them having an absolutely sensational game, but I think that you've got to look at the players a lot as well as Conte. I think, look, Conte doesn't get away from criticism, but I think you can't account for those. That performance from Højbjerg, that performance from Emerson, that performance from Davinson Sanchez, that slip from Ben Davis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of situations in there where Conte can't really account for, but I do think, he played his part as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, as I said in the preview, that he played 3-5-2 earlier at St Mary's. So whether I thought that's the formation that Conte thinks is best in this kind of game, I wasn't quite sure. Obviously, we went with 3-4-3 in this game, and we definitely first half got outdone massively on the tactical battle. I think Hasenhüttl takes massive credit. I think Conte will admit either whether it be personnel or formation or what it was, but the tactics we were getting completely outdone by Southampton, overrun in midfield, and the wing backs were not getting any joy. To his credit, I think he got into them in the second half, and especially with Bentancur coming on, I think we were much improved, and I think deservedly took a 2-1 lead at the time. So I think you'll give him credit there. But again, as soon as we took the lead, we sat back and we didn't manage the game at all well. And I think Conte has to take responsibility for how we finished that game and how we let a lead slip. So whether he's not coaching defenders exactly maybe he's got to coach them a bit more in those situations, because they kind of crumbled that defence at the end. So he will take responsibility for that. But he did change the game to get us winning, so that was good.
All right, well, that is our player ratings. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to know what your ratings are for the team in yesterday's 3-2 loss against Southampton, and let me know your reactions to our player ratings as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.